don't know smoke. You don't gotta look far to see it. Ain't no hope in this fucked up world. I'm just trying to stay afloat. I grew up in the ghetto in the middle of the streets, H-E-L-L, the belly of the beast. Thanksgiving came around, I wasn't having no feast when the landlord talking about breaking out lease. Goddamn, what's next? My girl broke it with your boy and she did it in a text that if I couldn't have nothing that I could have love besides love for the money and selling these drugs. Sometimes it seems like it's the only way out, but every day I'm getting older and it's getting played out. Can't end up in a pen trying to find a way out. Lord forgive me for my sins, when my heart gave out. My dad died, biggest loss I ever had to take. He a big part of the reason I'm the man I am today. And moving on was a move I wasn't trying to make, but I got sons now, so I gotta lead them not astray. And even though success is looking unlikely, I stay mighty and pray nightly and remain doing the right thing like Spike Lee, which is hard in this life for a nigga like me. All my life I had to fight like my name's Sophia. Always had heart and in my heart was no fear. Boy, I stayed is in trouble, trouble always stay near. When you black in America, that's all you cold here, I can't lie. Some days I wanna break down and cry for me and my people that's fighting to stay alive. Cause living ain't living when you living to survive. Guess we living in hell till the heavens arrive. Nah, I mean,
what it's like for a nigga like me.
Like me.
What it's like for a nigga like me.
Like me.
What it's like for a nigga like me.
Like me.
What it's like for a nigga like me.
Like me.
What it's like for a nigga like me. Gray skies overhead just isn't looking likely, but I try to do the right thing like Spike Lee. And I talk to God, the one and almighty. Lord, please have mercy on me.
Have mercy on me. Yeah.
Lord, please have mercy on me.
Have mercy on me.
Have mercy on me. What it's like in this life for a nigga like me. Every day I gotta fight my demons. Wake up, thank God I'm breathing. Cause all nightmares, America's dreaming. Trying to find a way to make it while surrounded by heathens. No stress long as I got a coat and I'm eating. I'm blessed and I know the Most High's the reason. But my heart's bleeding through my sleeve is seeping. For all the things that I've been peeping. Type of shit make you say fuck it and sleeping. Cause while you was sleeping during the evening, for brothers got gunned down over the weekend. Out in the streets fleeking. Laid out white sheet, mom's grieving. All lives gotta have more meaning. Another nigga dead in the paper I'm reading. Baby mama bitching every time that she's speaking. Talking like she gonna take the kids as she's leaving. How we go from kids to ending up in the deep end. Sink or swim, lose or win, saint or sin. Where does the change begin? And when does the bullshit end? Cause I wake up in the morning, gotta do it again. Go to sleep, go to work and just do it again. Damn. Can't pretend, cause when you stand out, it's hard to blend. And what I stand for, don't fold the bend. Cause I heard real folks still got too many friends. Cause when you speak the truth, then you tend to offend. So, while I'm gripping this pen, Lord please have mercy on me, amen.
It's time for my people to come together and rise up. The only way we gon' take our royalty back, man, is if we do just that, man. Take it back. Kwame Yashala, nigga. Time for us to rise out of our oppression. A wise man told me each one teach one. So I need you to reach out to your brothers and sisters and teach them, man. There's no reason we should still be getting hung from trees in this day and age, man. Lord, please have mercy on me.
How do you feel about the oppression of black people and Native American Indians and Hispanics? How do you feel about that oppression?
It's all tied in together, and definitely we suffered from some rough times, and it's all linked to everything's in common. Everything's in common.
Now, would you say that the common denominator for blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians will be the people, the nation that has oppressed us? Because we all been conquered by the same person. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say without saying it. I can grasp it. Yeah.
No sweat, no sweat. Now I'm gonna ask you this. Now this is a thought-provoking question right here. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna ask you this, brother. You seem like a strong-spirited brother, and I just want to know: do you believe that the white man is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of?
Yes, definitely.
Hey, Most High in Christ, Israel, you know what I'm saying? That concludes our interview right there. Once again, this is Precinct Officer Regalia of the ISUPK, and this is my brother right here,
Kawia King.
You know what I'm saying? Check this brother out. This brother's a musician. He reaches people through his music. Check him out. With that, shalom.
Shalom, this is Precinct Officer Ita Zuma, the ISUPK and the Commander General Yohana. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. And we've been teaching the truth since 1969 that all so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives are God's chosen people. The reason why we are out here today is to wake up our people A lot of our people, as you can see, are very destroyed. The oppressor still tries to destroy our people in many crafty ways. We have a lot of celebrities with a lot of money. They're not doing anything to help our people. So we're taking it upon ourselves to come out here in the streets and preach the word, the truth, to save our generations.
I was telling you why. Keep reading, not. And then one of all these, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. He shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. What you learned in history class, Rasa, that before they started putting, black people in slavery, who they put in slavery as well? Native Americans, right? Our ancestors were also put in slavery and bondage.
Shalom Israel, this is Officer Yawasab 5000, and we are out here today to teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians who they truly are. And we trying to wake them up so we can get out of this hell and this oppression that these Caucasian people have got us in for 400 years and more. You understand? And the only way to do that is to get into this truth and to get into ISUPK, 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana.
None other beside me. I changed not. What the hell are you doing, man? What are you doing? Do some research, man. Study. Pick up a book once and stop twerking. Can you stop twerking enough to pick up a goddamn book and read it? Nah, you want to watch Power. Nah, you want to go and gossip with your girlfriends. Understand? You want to be a drug dealer. You want to be a pimp. You understand? You want to be gangster. Man, get gangster with the Lord, man. That's right. And the Lord will truly show you you ain't no gangster. Understand that, man. Be a brother to your brother, man.
The nations who oppressed you, who stole your land, who took your identity, who gave you bywords, you understand? If you join them, you're going to be destroyed with them. But if you turn to the Most High and keep His laws, statutes, and commandments, you're going to live in that terrible day when Christ returns. What did the Most High say? Read.
I will bring plagues.
He said I might bring.
I will bring.
I could bring.
Let's clap it up. Clap it up. The scripture breakdown class. I'm Precinct Officer. Excuse me. I'm Precinct Officer Tawaga Bar, filling in for Captain Gadahar. Right. So we're gonna get into it. Israel, you got any questions? Put them in the chat. Is anybody in class got any questions on the scriptures before I start? No sweat, no sweat. Let me get Proverbs 14 and 20. Proverbs 14 and 20. All right, go ahead and read.
Book of Proverbs 14 and verse 20. The poor is hated, even of his own neighbor.
The what?
The poor is hated.
The poor is hated. Keep going.
Even of his own neighbor.
The poor is hated by his own neighbor. Who is the poor? Who is the Bible even speaking to, first of all, to establish that? It's not just talking about anybody that's poor. This is talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Like we love, like I was talking about it last night. I was talking about how, the brother that got killed, the rapper, senselessly, right? It's unfortunate. But whenever somebody with money, if something happens to somebody with money, something tragic happens to someone like that, blacks and Hispanics almost lose their mind, right? But when it comes to the brothers that these things happen to every day in your community, you don't even give a damn. Read that from the top.
Proverbs 14, verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
The poor is hated, even of his own brother.
The poor is hated. Is that the scripture?
The poor is hated, even of his own neighbor.
Even of his own neighbor. Meaning his own people hate him because he's poor. When you poor, man, you got everything up against you. We live in America. We're up against the so-called white man, and not only that, just living in the ghetto, you're up against your own brother, your own neighbor, right? You're hated by your own neighbor. I was bringing it out yesterday. It's like when we do crimes, we do those crimes against one another. We commit those acts that we do
that violence, we do it to one another. And it be somebody that looks just like you. And you look at him like, this, don't nobody give a damn about this nigga. Matter of fact, that reminds me, I got a book, I should have brought it. Whereas this book came out in the 1940s. It's called The American Dilemma, the Negro Problem. And what they did was they wanted to study black people in America, but they didn't want anybody from America, no white people from America to do the study. So they got a white man from like Sweden or Europe to do the study and just observe black people live in New York, live in the ghettos, and observe their relationships and the structure of America and how they're treated in America. And in one part, he said about crime, he said that black people commit crimes because seldom do they get punished. Now they know if they commit these crimes, I'm paraphrasing, they commit these crimes against white people, then it's a problem. But they look at each other as though, who's going to care? Who's gonna do anything? And that's what we do in the ghetto. We hate one another to the point where we look at each other like our lives have no value. Our lives don't mean the goddamn thing to one another. You look at that brother like this, who this nigga is? He ain't nobody. Nobody's going to miss him. I can take him out and I can get away with it, right? Because nobody cares about the hood anyway. Read it from the top.
Proverbs 14, verse 20. The poor hated even of his own neighbor, but the rich have many friends.
Oh, the rich have many friends. Everybody loves the rich man. You see how black people were crying and putting posts up for the queen, right? We love anybody that got something more than what we got. We love anybody that has that so-called American dream. We love that, right? But we hate our own people. We hate one another. And the minute a nigga get a good job, or he get a promotion, or he get a position up over his people, then you start to look down on your people like you better, or like you're exempt from the judgment of the Lord, or you're exempt from the white man taking that job the same way he gave you that job, right? Is that it on it? Go ahead, let me hear it.
He that despiseth his neighbor sinneth, but he that hath mercy on the poor, happy is he.
You can drop that. Give me 1 Timothy 6 and 8. Excuse me. Whoever got it, you can read.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 6, verse 8. And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. So
a lot of times we want that life. We want that lifestyle that we see on television and we see on social media. Social media is a gift and a curse. Because there's some good things about social media, but there are also some things that don't help our people at all. And one of them is for us to see the glitz and the glamours and then think that that's real life and to want those things. Like when I was growing up, it was magazines, it was television. Now you have social media where you looking at your phone on this little screen, and you seeing a world and you seeing things that you want. You seeing a life that you want, and you're willing to do anything for that life. And like that brother, that whoever took this rapper's life, right, for his chains and his jewelry, I was bringing it out, man. That's been happening forever in the hood, right? Brothers wear jewelry every day in the hood. They don't get robbed for their jewelry, but it's what's being sold to our people through the movies and the magazines and the video, the music videos, that this is the life, and this is what you should get. This is what you deserve. Well, man, you deserve death. You deserve that. You don't deserve a goddamn thing, man. Right? We all deserve death. If it wasn't for Christ, we wouldn't even have a chance. But we go out and we want these things, and we're willing to hurt one another for these things, man. The problem is, that material gain means nothing, absolutely nothing, man. It don't mean a damn thing. And we're willing, look, we coming out of a hole and now we're digging another hole. Now one brother done killed, one brother is dead, and now the other brother, he's finna be in jail for the rest of his life. What can you do? Like I said, what can you do when you take when you rob somebody in the middle of the day in a famous restaurant? Where the hell are you gonna go? The whole hood is hot right now. So like, what's that? Y'all hear a buzzing or something? Something in the front. The whole hood is hot, right? You done did all of this. You done got this jewelry. So what you gonna do? Go back to the hood and tell everybody, look what I got? Nobody wants to buy it from you. Nobody wants you in the hood. Everybody that's doing something illegal is mad because now you done got the block hot. You done got the police everywhere because of your stupidity. Right? Where was that coming from? Some.
It was probably the computer fan.
Nah, I don't know. That was weird. I don't know. Read it from the top again. Water though.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 6, verse 8. And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content.
So why we not content? Why we want the things that we see? Why do we want all of these things that they put in front of us as though that is going to fix our life? I said it before. If we would, what was that? About 2 years ago, they was having that conversation about reparations. They was having a conversation about reparations. I think it's a political thing because it comes around every now and then, but they never do it. They said they had to have hearings and meetings to figure out if they was going to give reparations, not how much money they was going to give, but if they was going to even give it. And it had people talking and people excited, thinking they're going to get something, for payment for what the United States government did to black people during slavery. The problem is that we're so destroyed. If they was to cut a check, if brothers and sisters was to get a check cut, just like, the stimulus money or the PPP loans, you'll be broke in 2 weeks because you destroyed, right? So you're going to go out and buy all the Gucci. You're going to go and buy all of these things you've been seeing people have on television and social media, right? Because we at this point, money won't even fix this. Things won't fix this. Nice clothes and name brand clothes is not the answer to our problems, right? We should be content with what we have. Read it from the top.
Verse 8. And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content.
You got food, you got clothes on your back, you got somewhere to lay your head, right? These are the things, the most simplest things are what a man needs for life and a happy life. But we overlook those things, wanting the material things that America puts in our face and ready to kill each other over those things. Go ahead. What verse is that? Verse 9. Go ahead.
But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare. And
you could drop that. Give me Romans 12 and 10. Romans 12 and 10.
Book of Romans, verse 12. Book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 10. Be kindly affectionate one to another.
Be kindly affectionate to one another. What does that mean? Anybody? Go ahead, Shadaran.
It's like treat your brother like your brother. Treat your brother like you would treat yourself.
Right. When you said treat your brother like your brother, you mean like a blood brother, right? And you grew up in the same house together, right? I take that. That's what it is. Treating your brother treating not just your brother, but your people, because it's not just about brothers, it's about sisters too. And it's about brothers and sisters, how brothers treat sisters and how sisters treat brothers, right? Read it from the top.
Verse 10, be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love.
We not kindly and affectionate to one another. When things happen to us, we throw on more dirt on a person. When things happen with our people, you have brothers and sisters that hate their people so much, they throw in they dirt on top of them while they already down. They kick them while they already down, right? They say, well, you should have did this. Well, what are those Trump supporting Hispanics say? What you should have did it the right way. Get your green card, get your papers. What they deserve to go back. That's their brothers. That's their same people, right? What do black people say to another black person that's asking for change? Man, I ain't got nothing to give you. You better get you a damn job, right? We are not kind and affectionate to one another. We are not considerate to one another. Go ahead, Shadow Right. Yeah, I got mine. You better get yours. Like I'm trying to come up too, right? We throw it back in each other's face instead of thinking like that could be me. I could be on the other side. I could be the person on the ground reaching out, asking for change, and you could be walking past, you know? So the point is, like what you said earlier, we got to treat one another how we want to be treated, right? We got to talk to one another how we want to be treated. And you know, that's a very hard thing a lot of times, especially in our community, with the looks that we give and you know, the energy and the vibes that we give one another to when you don't know a brother from nothing, right? But when you see him, hey, how you doing, brother? What's good, brother? And just break that ice. All the mean mugging and all the, nigga, where you from? Because that's where it's going to go, right? But you want to treat brothers and sisters how you want to be treated. You want to talk to them how you want to be talked to. You don't want to be rude and evil, right? Go ahead, Shadow Rock.
In my generation, it wasn't always like that. I see a brother down the street, we give each other the nod.
Right.
Hey, what's up, bro? What's up, yo? Yo, what's up? And we would, and the other brother say that whether we knew you or not. And I've been from state to state to state.
Mm-hmm.
New York, Baltimore, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it was the same thing. But after a while, period, and I'm not saying nothing bad to this about LA. I know it's like that over there too now with the youngsters.
Right.
But now, like, it's exactly what you said, and we know it.
Mm-hmm.
You mean mugger. Why you mean mugger? You don't even know me.
Right.
What are you mad at?
What are you mad at, right?
What's the basis of your anger toward me?
Right.
If I don't have nothing, obviously I'm suffering. Why would you be mad at me?
Why would you be mad at me? And a lot of times we're looking for enemies to make within our community. We're looking for somebody to unload all of our, frustration and energy off on. And that's what I was talking about also. That's what gangbanging is. Because we are tribal people, right? Biblically speaking, we were a tribal people. We were a people that was down with the get down if need be, right? But we have all of these frustrations, all of this depression, all of this fears, all of this dysfunction that's bottled up, and it's not put out towards the people who deserve it. We give it to one another. We unleash on one another, right? And we're to the point where we're looking for another black man, another black woman to unleash all of our frustrations out on them, right? Go ahead, Shadrach.
I was looking at a thing. It's on Facebook. It's about a brother that was wrongfully accused, went to the pen for 30 years, and he never even did it. And our know it's not you.
Right.
But you're gonna pay for it. You going and I sentence you for 2 consecutive life sentences. And so when he went in, he was on death row watching people get, brothers, everybody going to the chair, right?
Get railroaded.
Yeah.
Right.
And he was watching them in their last days, their last meal and everything. And then he was saying, he was saying in his mind, but he said while he was there, he ended up talking and became great friends with a Ku Klux Klan member.
What?
Great friends with a Ku Klux Klan member.
Mm-hmm.
And then his thing was, it's not good to hate. It's better to love and all that. But we in the ISUPK know that there is a time to hate. And they putting that propaganda out there like, we're not supposed to hate. There is a time to hate. You gotta hate that other nation that's been oppressing you.
Right.
They've been oppressing you. They've been taking you. The Jews in Brooklyn been taking all the Section 8 housing from the Puerto Ricans and blacks over there.
Right.
They've been taking all the Section 8, stealing it.
Like what you said is so heavy. Like, and what I was explaining is that we're supposed to love one another and have brotherly love. But what we do is we unleash all our frustrations on each other. Right. And then we turn around and say, after a white man then walked into a supermarket and shot 10 black people, we say, well, we can't hate. We need to love one another. Right. So when it comes to the other nation, we have all the compassion, all the thoughtfulness, all the restraint in the world. All the Christianity comes out of us. Right. All the Christianity comes out of black people. When you have to deal with treating your oppressor the way they should be treated, and taking that thing that you do to your people and turning it towards them. Go ahead, Shadow Right.
That's what I was trying to. I'm glad you said that. That's what I was really trying to bring out, because it struck me how he had so much love for him. Don't know from a can of paint. He's across the cell from him, and he hear him crying and all this stuff. He's worried about him. Now all of a sudden he's saying this and that, how great human being he is, when his family taught him to hate everybody. I said the reason why that happened because he's on death row like you, dummy.
Right.
He's on death row like you. He's gonna die like you, and he's a punk. He ain't really, manning up to it. Look, man,
right.
He's gonna die anyway.
Right.
So face it. Face it.
Just face it. Right.
You know what I mean? You won't have that same.
So the white man was crying. He overheard the white man crying in the cell, and that's why he had compassion on him on death row.
Right. He's like, why are you crying? It's gonna be okay, or this and that and the other. Then they got to be friends like that, and because they got to be friends, this is supposed to be how he views the whole oppressive race.
And that's the problem. Also, a lot of brothers and sisters have good Edomite friends at work, grew up with some of them, went to school with some of them, and have good relationships with them. That doesn't negate the fact that they still are the devil the Bible speaks of. If somebody could get me as iron rusteth, so does his wickedness. Was that it on that, Jaime? That was 12 and 10.
12 and 10. There was a little bit more.
Okay, go ahead.
In honor, preferring one another.
In honor, preferring one another, meaning loving your people above everybody else. Preferring one another. That's the thing that is a hard thing for Black and Hispanic people to swallow, because we live in America, the melting pot of diversity, and all the nations under one umbrella, and what is it, multicultural, and coming together, and they pushing that diversity thing real tough right now, even in the workplace. But that's a hard pill for. Black and Hispanic people should ask themselves that. Why is it so hard for us to accept preferring one another? Why is it so hard for us to, if somebody said, if one of those crazy dudes ran into one of those crazy dudes on the corner, right? That's what they call us, telling us we should love our people. Why is that hard to accept when every other race does it right in your face? They do it right in your face. East Indians do it right in our face. They, with they only hire their people with the convenience stores. Asian people definitely do it right in your face with the donut shops, beauty supply stores, the swap meets. You know what I'm saying? And only hire their people, live around their people. I can go on and on. Out here, it's a community of Eritreans. And I remember going to high school with them. Some of them today they see me, they would call me their friend, right? But when we used to get out of school, they would go back to their community. They didn't hang with no brothers. Only time you was around them was at school. Only time all of these people that you think that, you know, we in a melting pot, and I got you know, Timothy, he's my friend. You know, Tanner, he's my friend. You know, yeah, we go up to the bar and all of that after work. All of these people, they unconsciously, are subconsciously or consciously, they love their people. They go to their own part of town. They hire their people. They stick to their kind. For the most part, you might come across an East Indian that then married outside of their race. You may sometimes, but for the most part, all of these people prefer each other before they prefer you, even before they prefer the so-called white man, right? The Arabs, we got a lot of Arabs out here, liquor stores, 99-cent stores, right? They prefer their kind. They hire their family members. So when we say what's wrong with us just being black and brown people have an issue with that. You just gonna say something, Shadrach? Go ahead.
It was two things really. I remember like you were saying about, you know, our oppressor. We were locked up in jail, and we called this guy Phil Donahue. You know, the old talk show guy, Phil Donahue. He came in. I don't know what crime he did. We had jobs. All of us had jobs serving food. So we serving food. One day, well, he immediately got with the biggest, meanest looking brother in there and got to beat his friend first. And then talk about how much he liked and care about everybody and this, that, and the other. And then during the line service things, when things got real rough, he went in on a brother. Just went in on him. You this, you that. Called him everything but the N-word. Everything. And then they had to straighten him up right there. Hey, hold up. When you came in here, you was cool. You said you was cool with everybody.
Right.
We didn't think you was like, what you doing? What you doing here, man? You better raise up.
Right.
Like that. We had to go there. But we don't get this as a people. We don't get this, man. They're good for you. They're like what they call fair weather friends. When the weather's fair, they're your friend.
Right.
When the weather get rough, they gone. Where they at? Where are they? Oh, I got many friends like that. Where they at when you was on the unemployment line? Where they at when you get an EBT card and you get kicked out, or your baby mom called the cops on you? You need somewhere to stay at.
Right.
You need some food in your mouth for more than one day.
Hey, Tanner is not gonna allow you to come and sleep on the floor. He was like, I'm sorry, buddy, but I know there's a shelter somewhere where I can help you get to the shelter. He's not gonna open his doors to you. You know what I mean?
It's always that story, sir. I can get it to you for now, but I gotta go.
Right.
I gotta do this for you now, but I gotta go.
Right.
Whereas I was coming through a recovery thing, you know, because I had problems with drugs, and you have to get a job at the end. You got to get a place to stay after your treatment, after you get off of it and everything. They will go into their friend's house. Oh, he live in Zuma Beach. He live in Marina Del Rey, and he got a basement, another extra room. I'm going to live with him. That's my housing plan. Where was all the? I was noticing where are all the brothers going? We going right out there to the sidewalk.
Going to the
curb.
That's where every black and Hispanic ends up, on the corner, hanging out on the corner when you ain't got nowhere to go, right? But another thing I wanted to say is that there's an energy when it comes to black and Hispanic people. When you're around your own kind, there's certain what is the thing? Body language and eye contact that we have, that like say we in the workplace or we in school, that you like, oh, I see one of me. Damn, because I was hoping I was gonna see another brother. I was hoping I was gonna see another Hispanic, And it's an unspoken language that we got, where when we see one of us, we nod, we look at each other like, okay, I'm not here at this in the boondocks at this school alone. I'm not, here somewhere way out somewhere alone. I see one of my brothers, I feel a little more comfortable. Or you know what I mean? There's a certain that feeling that you feel, that's the feeling that you're supposed to have. You're supposed to prefer one another. Now you have that feeling because you in a concrete jungle with all kind of nationalities in America, Babylon the Great, right? And you have no assurance of anything. You don't have no assurance of your life, of your opportunities. You don't have no insurance. The only thing we do have is the fact that Christ left us this brotherhood. That's the one thing that we do have, but we don't understand how it's supposed to work in the Black and Hispanic community. We done lost that connection, and we done lost that love and that preference for our own people, right? And you'll find out soon. If somebody could find me the story where they're talking about they're gonna be letting people out of jail. They're not going to be arresting people for a multitude of offenses. You won't believe the type of things that they're saying they won't be arresting people for. So it's going to be more acts of violence on the streets. It's going to be more criminality. It's going to be lawlessness, right? It's going to be a lot of lawlessness because the police they said, listen, we ain't going to be able to do everything we've been doing. Funding has been cut. So a lot of these criminals are going to be getting let out, or we're not going to even be detaining them, right? Go ahead, Shadrach.
Yeah, and what we do acknowledge each other is that in the other, it's so short-lived. It's short-lived. It's like for a minute,
right?
And then you go right back to your street ways where you don't like him, you don't like him for some dumb reason, some unforsaken reason, You just gotta have something, or you just abandon him altogether.
That's why the truth is so beautiful, because brothers can settle disputes, brothers can have counsel, and we don't have to fight or kill one another over something so small and so petty that happens all the time in the world, right? Go ahead. Yeah, give me that.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12 and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Never trust thine enemy.
It says, the Bible says to never trust thine enemy. The Bible says your enemy is every nationality, according to Psalms 83. All of these heathen nations are against you. It says to never trust them. Now, never trust them doesn't mean you can't do business with them. But when you start to let your guard down and when you start to love them over your own people, then you're going to find yourself in a hole, in a trap, which is what Black and Hispanic people are in America. Go ahead.
For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness.
So like iron rusted, iron takes a long time to eat away at metal. And it starts off like real small, and it just grows and grows and grows and grows. It's a slow process. It says his wickedness is the same way. Like you was giving that example, how the white man came into the dorm, or he came into there and he was cool. He got up under the biggest brother's shoulder. Everybody accepted him. But that wickedness just grew and grew until he just exploded on the brother, and everybody was alarmed. Like, wait a minute, who is you? Right? We thought you was cool, right? The same way how Dylan Roof could walk into a church and pray with the people, then pull out a AK-47 and shoot everybody dead. The same way a white man can walk in live streaming into a supermarket, live streaming on live with a shotgun like a video game and shoot 10 elderly Black people in the supermarket. The Bible says to never trust your enemy. Always be vigilant and keep your guard up. Go ahead.
And it's like he's showing his true colors. What we saw in that dorm was that he was showing his true colors.
Right.
When he said that, the way he said that to that brother, he said he had a lot of hateful words towards this dude over some food that he's serving. What even is food that he's serving?
Good night.
Is that the same thing
when it says that the wicked will be revealed, the man of sin, so like the man of sin. Definitely. Revealed. Definitely, we can get that too. And that's just like in a small scope. That's like in a more on a personal level, but it still applies to that precept. Go ahead. Was all the iron wrestlers? Okay. Somebody else gets 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3.
Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means.
No, that was it on that, right? That was it. All right. Go from the top.
Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for they shall not come except there come a falling away first.
This is talking about the return of Christ. Like the purpose of us having all of these classes and us going out on the streets and going to camp and keeping the high holy days and learning the Lashawan Kodash and pushing this truth as hard as we can. The purpose of it is for Christ to return faster. That's what we want. We want Christ to return. That's why we do this work. We're trying to wake up our brothers and sisters, right? And so we're talking right here. The context is we're talking about when Christ is going to come, but it's not going to happen. Read it from the top, unless.
Verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first.
That day ain't going to come unless there be a falling away first. What does that mean? Somebody in the chat, somebody inside that's watching class. What does this mean when it says that day won't come unless there be a falling away first? I know some brothers in here know it. I wanted to see somebody online can answer that. Read it from the top again.
Verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means.
Mm-hmm.
For that day shall not come except there come a falling away first.
That day won't come. The day of Christ won't come except there be a falling away first. So what that means is that what the brother was saying earlier, what Shadrach was saying earlier, is that Black and Hispanic people are going to have to see the so-called white man for who he really is. They're going to have to start to recognize that he will never change. And see, they was almost there during George Floyd. Those protests, Black people was almost there. It was like a lion that's taking a nap, and a hyena coming, and it wake up and it get up, like it wants to get up. It growls a little bit, and then it gets back down and it just lays down, goes back to sleep. We were almost there, because when the George Floyd thing happened, a lot of Black people started being more conscious and want to be blackity black and pro-black and all of that. And and remember, what was them dudes that had the guns? They was like a militia. You remember them? They was a militia. Black people was like really conscious during that protest era with George Floyd, right? But then we went back to sleep. So like that, people will have to see, like, man, he keep killing us. It's like a spiritual thing. These things that the so-called white man is doing to Blacks and Hispanics, it's not just happenstance. These are spiritual signs that spiritually minded people should be noticing, right? You should be noticing, like, wait, this is not right. Something ain't, it went from what? Young Black men being shot on camera to Karens. Remember that time period where it was nothing but Karens on video telling, you know, kids they couldn't sell water, telling somebody they couldn't smoke a cigarette in the parking lot. Just Karens were gone crazy. And it was just like, you know, a sequence of events from not just the so-called white man, but the so-called white woman, right? Go ahead, Shadow Rock. What was you gonna say? Oh yeah, that was the most famous one. They was barbecuing.
Remember, there was also the young boy that had a business and he was doing grass, he was doing landscaping.
Oh, I remember that. That was the one you reminded me of. That's the one they made a meme of with the white woman with the phone to her ear, and she had on like some lokes calling the police, but some brothers was just barbecuing in the park, and she said they couldn't barbecue. But my point is that there's been a sequence of events, and now it's been so long that we done just got complacent, and we done went back to sleep, and we just like, you know, that's normal now. Oh, black man got shot by the police while he was running. That's normal now. Oh, it's a Karen. Oh, it's normal now. They done made a movie about Karens, right? All the while, these are signs. These are reasons for you to wake up. These are signs the Lord is trying to show you something. He's trying to show you the type of nation that you are dealing with. And we seem to not see it, and we seem to not care. Go ahead, read it from the top.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first.
And the falling away is black and Hispanic people are going to have to say, you know what? We're backing up off of y'all. We're cool on you. We see how you get down. We see you never going to give us justice. You're just going to talk about those reparations, right? And we are going to continually be at the bottom of the society. Go ahead.
And the other thing was, like you were saying, we was like a sleeping lion.
Right.
Get ready to wake up. And at that time, everybody was always saying, I'm woke.
Right.
Saying, I'm woke.
Right.
They know that they get oppressed.
Khan.
You don't hear that too much no more.
Khan, you have that community that says that they are woke. And what are you woke from? What are you conscious of? Because obviously you're not conscious that the white man is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. You're not awoke to the fact that, remember when I was coming up, what was that movie called? Was it Boys in the Hood or Minister Society? When he was telling him you're prey, you're the prey. Is that the one that's saying you the prey, or whatever the case may be? We have these signs that we are a people that is being hunted. We are a people that everybody looks at like as dollar signs and money signs, right? These other nations, they look at us and they see money. They want to come into the community because they know that they have the biggest consumers in America in those communities, right? So everybody looks at us for a way to get to step on us and get up the ladder and climb up to the top of America, right? And we don't see that. But black and Hispanic people will have to say, no, this man right here, he is the devil. This man right here has never, ever done anything that would actually fix our people. He's put us in this position, and then he calls us criminals and thugs, and he talks about us as like, get a job. He turns around and say, why you ain't did nothing after putting you in the position, right? Play that trick on your mind and then you start looking at other black people like, nigga, you got to stop being a damn victim. You got to stop playing the victim Olympics. You got to get a job. You got to stop having excuses. That's how a lot of black people who have gotten the opportunity or a door open for them look at their own people, because they haven't recognized that they've learned all of that from the man who we're talking about right now. Keep reading.
And that man of sin be revealed.
Go ahead.
The son of perdition.
It says, and that man of sin be revealed. So you're going to have to fall away from that man and he be revealed for who he really is. which is a deceiver and a liar. There's no other way around it, right? Like Shadow Rock said, for some reason, we don't get it. We don't get it that what we are dealing with, you are literally, in America, as Black and Hispanic people, you are literally living a life of survival, right? You're living a life, like if the so-called white man was righteous, you wouldn't have to live a life where you're always worried about how you're going to pay your bills. You're always worried about this and that. They live that life, and then they tell you you can get that life too if you just apply yourself. If he was really righteous, Black and Hispanic people would have everything that they ever desire, right? Because that's what he owes. That's what he owes us, right? Righteously. I'm not saying you're going to get it, but righteously. Is that it on it? Go ahead.
Who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called God.
And I mean, this is this parable is asking you to connect the dots. He does what? Read that last part of that precept.
Exalted himself above all that is called God.
He exalted himself above all that is called God. He put himself on the dollar bill. He put himself as an image of Christ. He put himself as an image of the angels. And he exalt himself above God with this LGBT community and pushing it on your children, right? Things that are against God. Go ahead, Shadow Rock.
He's always coming to you with a big smile on his face. He always got this big smile on his face, and the things that he do, he act like it's always so humanitarian.
Right.
So he's for humanity, so with so much. But he's the first one to kill you.
Right.
And we look at it, oh, he did this thing here. That's a little thing he did. He didn't stay with you. He just did that little thing to look good, to exalt himself. That's what he's doing. It's like the other part in the Bible where it says even Satan has transformed into light.
I'm glad you said that about the exalt part, right? Whereas he is above God because in this life he is God to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, because that is where we're getting our substance, we're getting our food, clothing, all of the things that we desire. They come from the hand of the so-called white man. That's where they come from, right? So with that, he is looked at as God. With that, he has the image of himself as God. So in a way, he exalts himself as God because now he's bringing in laws. He's doing things and saying it's okay, and it's totally against the Most High. For instance, LGBTQ. You know what I'm saying? And the things that they want to push on the children. But he sit in the place where he is like, so like I'm paraphrasing this a scripture, but he is the author and the finisher of Black and Hispanics faith, right? As far as in a carnal way, he's the one that is, not only is he the villain, but he also comes in with the cape and he's the hero, right? That's something that we got to wake up from. We got to wake up from that image, and even that image of his woman being the image of beauty and love and all that is some real program. It's some real satanic witchcraft in America, where when you think in your mind of something that is beautiful, you think white first before you would think Black. Like that experiment they used to do with the kids. I think that was in the 60s. They did them experiments with the kids with the black doll and the white doll, right? But this is the programming that we are up under. This is the demons that we are fighting when we speak the truth. When we go out in the streets and say who the so-called white man really is. He's not as great as you think. I know you think he's Marvel and he's Capcom and he's a superhero, but you are the real superhero. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you are the superheroes, right? You are the greatest on the earth. Go ahead.
Even, like you said, he does anything that's against the Lord. In the movie Malcolm X, he even came out with, he said, I condemn him. I
condemn him for being the biggest murderer. I condemn him for being the biggest liar. I condemn him for being the biggest swine eater.
Right.
Now let's fast forward that to 2022. Everything you see on TV about pizza, it's always pepperoni, pepperoni, pepperoni.
Right.
And now they put a new word on there. Old world pepperoni.
Right. And not only that, because I paid attention. Everything has to have bacon in it. Everything has to have bacon. If it's it's a salad, a hamburger, whatever it is, they gotta advertise that pork. You know what I mean? He is the biggest swine eater and the biggest swine pusher, right? Because it's advertised. I think when I was growing up, they used to have the advertisements. It's the other white meat, right? Other than I think chicken or something like that. So they push the sale of pork heavily in America, right? I don't want to lose. Okay, give me Ezekiel 33 and 15. Was that it? What we was reading? Was that it?
There was a little bit more.
Okay, let's finish that first.
Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. And
I covered all of that when I was speaking about how he put himself as the image of God, right? He sits in the temple of the Most High. The angels, from the time you grow up and you see any image of God as Black and Hispanic people, it's something white. It's an angel. It's Christ. A lot of us still to this day, I don't know why, still have a white Jesus hanging up somewhere in the house, a Virgin Mary hanging in something. I remember my grandma had the picture of it was a double picture. It had Jesus on one side, the Virgin Mary on both sides. You know how they got their hand up with their head sideways, white. You know what I mean? But that's the reality of Black and Hispanics households, is that we grow up with these images of what our spirituality is supposed to be based on, and it is white people. Right. So I understand why it's very hard to separate from them or to prefer your people over anybody else. Meanwhile, every other nation prefers their people first. Right here in America, they do it. Like I said, they do it right in your face. East Indians, Arabs, they do it right in our face. And so we get it misconstrued, because you get it misconstrued because you going in the liquor store to buy blunts and you like hee ha ha. Hey man, hey what hey Babito, or whatever it is. You go up in there, you having a good conversation with him, or he allows you to stand in front of the liquor store and sell your drugs, and you think like we in the melting pot. This is America, everybody is everybody. I can't just love Black people. I can't hate nobody. Like when that is not hate for us to say that to love one another. That is not hate for us to say to prefer your own people. That is real love. Real love is like putting your people first. Doesn't mean you can't do business with other nations. You can do business. You can, buy, sell from them, or whatever you want to do. But when it comes to who are you going to go to first, who are you going to love first, who are you going to give your compassion to, that's another one. Because like I said, with the Queen dying, the Queen passed, and you got Black people online literally, crying and, talking about memories of their first time ever seeing the Queen, and they remember, and it's like, it's just disgusting, because when we die, we don't even have that compassion for each other. But like, that goes back to what the brother is reading, where the so-called white man, he sits in that place as God in our lives. So we look at him, we're in reverence, we're in that's the word, reverence of him. You know what I'm saying? We're hurt when he passes away. And we don't even give a damn about our ancestors that were killed and murdered at the hands of them. We don't think about them. We don't think about all the Hispanics and all the Black people that you'll never know about. Only the Most High know. Only when the book is open, we're going to find out all the evil that the white man has done to us. You think that because you think what you know is something, what he done wrote down, he wrote down and he took pictures of you hanging from trees. You think that is something. Wait till when the Most High reveals him for the coward that he really is. Go ahead, Shadrach.
There's some unmarked graves, or there's an area where there's a lot of our brothers and sisters that are dead behind the second slavery, behind the peonage that they had in the South.
Where is that at?
That's in a movie called the Second Slavery.
Oh, you mean when they would put them in jail for vagrancy and they would take them to the put them in slavery again? Yeah.
Or they say they owed them money, but they really didn't owe them nothing. It happened to a brother. He was walking home and his wife was sick, but the man walked up and said, "You owe me money, boy." And from that, they arrested him.
Right.
They had their own justice of the peace, so they could charge him. The justice of the peace was in the family, so he in the bed with them.
Right.
And now this brother is working for him for as long as he say, and he could beat him at will, at anything, at his discretion, and nothing would happen to him. But there's families that came up with the relatives of these people in the movie. It's the untold story of the second slavery. And they said that they know that their relatives are buried right there because a lot of them that were working in the coal mines, they were in the coal mines too.
Right.
And they would die right out there, and they would bury them, and they don't even know. Like you said, there's a lot more bodies that nobody really even know, and only in that area, man. There's many areas.
Yeah, it's many. It's many areas. In Laredo, Texas, is another spot where they found a mass grave of Hispanic people. Also, Texas Rangers. You know, this was early in the 1900s. They would just be killing Mexicans at will. They would just be murdering Mexicans. This is stuff. These are things you can look up. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead on.
You made a point on how Christians still have white Jesus inside their houses and stuff like that, and they serving their God. But like, I deal with Christians too as well, and like they'll take down the image of the image that Christianity portrays to be Christ, and still like they'll take the image down and think they're doing something righteous, but they'll still be going to the same church that taught them that image is what is God is.
Right,
so
right.
They're still adopting the ideology of Christianity.
Right.
Like just because you take the picture down, or
Yeah.
don't have it hanging up, don't mean you still ain't serving that white God.
Yeah, defacing the image is one step. But the most important thing is you got to get out of the ideology of the religion of Christianity, and you got to realize that Christianity is a lie. And a lot of people are starting to notice that when you open the Bible and read the Bible, that it's totally different from what they learned their whole life. You know what I mean? I've seen that a lot of people lately have been understanding that the Bible says something expressly different than what they've learned up under their pastor their whole life. Right. Where you had something, Shadrach?
And just like the Native Indians, come on, the Trail of Tears and all that, there's unmarked graves all the time. You know,
right.
In Hollywood, under them stars, there's unmarked graves.
Oh, definitely. I just seen a story on Calabasas. Calabasas had the Chumash Indians. Calabasas was a land where Indians stayed. And of course, white people tricked them out of the land, bought up the land, and held on to the land, right? And then I think it might have been like in the 1940s where developers started to come into Calabasas, and then now today is known as a place where movie stars built their houses, right? Because it's very secluded. Even right here where we at, San Bernardino was it was the Serrano Indians that lived in this area. Later on, they were called. Well, they had a place. They were called the San Manuel Indians. Originally, they were Serrano Indians in this whole valley, and the so-called white man came from Utah. The Mormons came and had great wars with them to the point where they pushed the Indians up into the mountains. And then I forget his name, Russell. One of these Mormons. He's a famous Mormon. He built. He established and founded San Bernardino County, basically after they had wars in the name of their Mormon God and killing the so-called savages, and pushed the Native American Indians into the mountains, right? If we could, give me Ezekiel 33 and 15. 33 and 15.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 15. If the wicked restore the pledge, give again that he had robbed, walk in the statutes of life without committing iniquity, he shall surely live. He shall not die.
So this is what going back to what I was talking about earlier, is that you know, the white man can give back everything that he stole. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians should not be living a life where we're worried about how we're going to pay our rent and how we're going to make ends meet, if we're going to have a roof over our head, how we're going to, you know, whatever it is. We shouldn't be having those type of worries in a place that we built. Not only that, with the injustices that we suffered, you know, just going by their own laws, going by the laws of this world, we have been a people that are that the so-called white man has committed genocide. We're talking about war crimes against. So just by that, you need to give these people retribution. I'm going by the white man's law, but the Most High says this. Read it from the top. Hey, shalom, Mark.
Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 15. If the wicked restore the pledge, give again that he had robbed. Walk in the statutes of life.
So it said, if the wicked restore the pledge, give again what he have robbed. Give back what he have stolen, right? Give the wages to the slaves that you worked them, you know, all day, 16 hours a day. Give back the land to the Native American Indians and the Mexicans. Give back what you stole, right? Go ahead.
Walk in the statutes of life.
Walk in the statutes of life. Keep reading.
Without committing iniquity.
Without committing iniquity. Go ahead.
He shall surely live.
He
shall not die.
He shall surely live. He shall not die. But would he? Will he? Hell, the so-called white man gobbles up the earth from his own damn people. He's not about to give back what he have stolen. They'll say that they're sorry and they feel bad, but that's as far as they'll go. They're not giving reparations. When you really calculate, there was a white man, I think it was in 2013. He calculated the amount of money that the United States government would have to give in reparations. I think he came up with a number like 14 trillion, right? Literally, it would bankrupt America, right? To pay the slaves and to give back the land. They would literally be the illegal aliens in this place, which they really are, right? If they was to have to give back everything they stole, give back everything. I mean, you can't pay anybody for lives that you done took. There's no price you can put on somebody that's been murdered, right? You can't put a price on a family member. If you was to go back and find out how many family members that passed away, you wouldn't want that. You wouldn't want money for it. You would want blood. That's what the Most High wants, right? He's going to want blood. He's going to want blood. He's going to want them to pay the same way, them to feel the same pain that his people have felt. That's what the Most High wants. But I'm just saying from a standpoint of just, okay, pay us back. They wouldn't be able to pay us back because then they'll be homeless. Then they'll really be somewhere in a tent, in a cave somewhere. But that would be righteous. That would be righteous to give Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians their just due for the crimes and the atrocities that they've committed against us. Right? Is that it on it? Now you can drop that. Give me Joshua 1 and 8.
Book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 8. This is the book of the law. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night.
That's what we got. That's what our focus should be. Your focus should be to meditate on the precepts day and night. I say it all the time, like you can't get caught up in, not coming to class, not being around the brothers. You have to, in order to stay strong in this truth, you're going to have to do those things and meditate on these precepts and study and open in the Bible and read and pray. And pray, most importantly, right? Read it from the top again.
Joshua chapter 1, verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein.
Mm-hmm.
For then thou shalt make thy ways prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success.
Now, going back to what I was saying earlier, we want that lifestyle that we see on social media, that lifestyle that we see people having, that good life. Black and Hispanic people, all they talk about is being successful. Black women talking about being the most successful, and you know, black men talking about being high value, right? You want to be successful, you better keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's real success. Real success is knowing having the heritage, knowing your heritage, and having the knowledge and wisdom of what to do and what not to do when problems and things arise, right? Having the understanding of how to move through this hell. And so you can have all the money in the world, but that don't mean you're gonna make good decisions, right? You see that with celebrities. Celebrities make some of the worst damn decisions ever. Right. And these are people that Black and Hispanic people look up to as though there's somebody that should teach you on how to live your life. When the Bible prescribes everything that we need, the Bible lays it out, everything that we need. We just got to do it. Read it from the top.
Book of Joshua chapter 1, verse 8. This is the book of the law. It's like this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. Mm-hmm. Thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. Mm-hmm. For then thou shalt make thy ways prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Keep going, sir.
Nah. I think that's it. Make that way prosperous and have good success, right? If you want to prosper and be successful, keep the law, statute, and commandments. It's simple. It's not. It's not no special formula or none of that thing. When you put the things of the Lord first, everything that you want gonna be added to you anyway. So whatever it is you're trying to do, if you're going to make that thing the number one thing and not the Lord, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to prosper. It may for a little bit, but the full understanding is that without that wisdom or the knowledge of the Lord, how can you really be successful and prosper? You see people start businesses and do things all the time and they fail, right? Go ahead, Shadrach.
I got a correction on that. It's not slavery to untold stories. Slavery by another name. It's also in a book.
Okay, it's a book?
Slavery, yes, and a movie.
Slavery by another name. Is that a documentary or it's a movie? Okay, I think I've seen. I haven't seen the documentary, but I've seen it before. Is it? I think it might be by. It's a sister. Or is she? Do she got a book? I'm getting confused with the sister that got that book, the prison pipeline, like where Michelle something like that.
There is a sister and one of her relatives actually went through it, but I believe it's a man that's narrating this story.
Okay.
It's from the Civil War to World War II.
And what's the name of that again?
Slavery by Another Name.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Slavery by Another Name by Douglas A. Blackman.
Oh, okay. No sweat. Give me Ecclesiastes 7:7.
Ecclesiastes, sir?
Yes.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
This is
a gift destroyeth the heart.
This is something that Black and Hispanic people don't understand. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be angry. As when you look at Black and Hispanic men in the ISUPK, and you say, well, these are not men of God, because a real man of God, he speaks a certain kind of way. He doesn't talk about, nations and the white man this and the white man that. But the Bible tells you that the Lord is a man of war. The Bible also tells you that Christ was an austere man. And how in the hell can you ever get change? Anybody that ever did anything in the community did it out of a righteous anger. They didn't have the Lord with them. Nat Turner didn't have the Lord with him, right? Malcolm X didn't have the Lord with him. Certain brothers didn't have the Lord with them, but it's not a sin to be angry for the oppression that you see your people go through. That's how a lot of brothers died anyway, because they fought back in slavery when they seen somebody else getting whipped or somebody getting beat or somebody getting raped, right? There's an anger that is a righteous anger. You was gonna say something, Shada, right?
Yeah, I was going to quote this precept in Ecclesiastes, chapter 3. I'll go from verse 1, and then I'm going down to verse 8. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose.
I guess you was reading my mind, but go ahead.
It's like under heaven. And so I'm gonna add with it. There was an old group back in the 60s, and I think they were called the Birds or something. They were even saying in their song, to everything, turn, turn, turn. And that was the title of their record. And this is our oppressors saying that.
Right.
So I'm gonna drop down to 8. It says, a time to love and a time to hate.
Right. Right.
A time of war and a time of peace. So
right.
What is these Christians and these people talk about? They so righteous. What the hell are they talking about?
What are they talking about? Right. That just goes to show you that they don't know the Bible. Right. Malakman, go ahead.
We're taught that it's wrong for us to be mad about anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be happy all the time.
Right.
But when you look at the white Christian church, right, they're always mad. That's why they're always out there at the abortion with Planned Parenthood.
Oh yeah.
The pride rallies. Man, they stormed the Capitol.
Right.
And they let their anger be known. But somehow when it comes to us, we're not allowed to get angry about anything.
Right. Go ahead, Oscar. The water. Go ahead. Oh, no one else.
Yeah. So you already noticed that we're supposed to sit and let them put these needles and inject us like they injected us with syphilis.
Right.
And we're not supposed to say nothing. We're supposed to be, in other words, put me in the mind of what y'all was saying of guinea pigs. We're supposed to be guinea pigs. Just sit there and take it.
Right.
And then they use that. These Christians want to use that turn the other cheek stuff. Well, we here in the school know better.
Yeah, well, that's not biblical. That's not biblical to forgive the people that just killed your kids or went into a grocery store and shot everybody and killed your loved ones, and then before your loved one's body is even cold, you forgiving them, right? Read it from who had that? You had that? Yeah, go ahead.
Ecclesiastes 7:7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart.
And a gift destroyeth the heart. What is that gift? Go ahead.
It could be various things. They could give you money for shooting your loved one in the head. They can. It could be various different things that depending on the situation, they can give you something just to kind of cuddle you and subside your anger for a moment. You know what I'm saying? Okay, what you gonna say, Shadow Rock?
It's like the stimulus check.
He said, "Hey, it's a lot, kid." Right. Okay. So both of them was good, but I was gonna say, a gift is like, something that will make you turn the other cheek to your people, like not see what's happening with your people. So you see a lot of celebrities and stuff, their reaction is not what you think it should be. Like maybe only one person, Colin Kaepernick, had a reaction to black people getting killed by the police that you think everybody should have, but a lot of people are looking at it like, I don't want to touch that. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to lose my contracts. I don't want to lose my endorsements. You know, if I talk a little too much, somebody's going to get angry and that money ain't going to be coming in. So that gift could be, like brothers was saying, it could be a scholarship. It could be a good job, a promotion, you know, something to make you be like, you know, my life is too good to mess it up. I want to say something, but I'm not going to say nothing, you know. And maybe them niggas need to get a job. Maybe they need to stop hanging out on the street. You see, if he would have just, you know, been going to work, he wouldn't have been got shot by the police. If he would have just, you know, complied, he wouldn't have got killed by the police. And this is coming from blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, that their heart is destroyed for their people. Because of the things they have gotten, the success they might have gotten, they no longer have a heart for their people. Their heart is destroyed, right? So the Bible says oppression makes a wise man mad. So if you get upset and angry at these things, you are wise. If you don't, you're the opposite of wise. You're silly, you're stupid, you're ignorant, right? And then the gift, whatever it may be, destroys your heart. That bribe, just like with a judge or with a politician, he could have his head on right and be willing to do whatever it takes to better that community in that municipality that he's at. Then somebody comes and passes him a check and tells him to do this. Oh yeah, you know, police don't have to go over there. Have them patrol my area, keep my area safe. You know, a bribe, a gift. That's just like a small way to look at it. But in the big picture, there's many things that Black and Hispanic people can attain and get to make them change their heart or their love for their people, right? But the point is that it's okay to be mad and upset. They say that we angry men. You damn right we angry, because we don't see any changes, right? And we feel the pain and the brunt. And when we see the things happen to our people and we see how lost our people are, we know that our people are just like children. They're just like, lambs led to the slaughter. They don't even see it coming. You know how many times something happens and I don't even want to watch a video no more when a police shoots somebody. And because I think in my head, this done happened so many times. Why is it that our people don't get it? Why they don't get that, understand that these police are actually, you know, going to work ready to kill something. Like they're itching to take your life. So why are you going to do the exact thing that they're telling you not to do to die easy? And it's a simple answer, man. We're in hell. We're destroyed. We are a people without knowledge and without understanding, right? We are drunken with the philosophies of America. A lot of us think we can argue our way up out of getting pulled over by the police. We think we know the law. We you know, you see the videos where we just think no. Why are you pulling me out of the car? Why you stop me? Why are you doing this? Well, according to section 2.35, you know, we think that we can really be like our oppressor in everything in our lives, but we don't recognize that we are the prey. Go ahead. Most definitely, we don't have the leadership. We don't have the know-it-all. We don't have nobody that's leading us except for the ISUPK, right? And that's why our job is so important, and our job is so serious, and we have to take it serious. Because there is nobody else. In the time from now to next week, who knows how many brothers and sisters will kill one another or be killed by someone or be killed by the police that could have heard what we're saying. They could have heard this truth for the first time and it gave them a different perspective and saved their life from a situation. Our life is, so like our work is so important. Don't take this work lightly that we do. It's so important because it could be them hearing one of us on the corner, or hearing a brother's class online could be the difference between life and death, literally, right? These words, the words that we speak out of the Bible, they have life. They have real life, because right now our people are just the walking dead. We just dead out there, right? Let me see. I want Isaiah. Yeah, Isaiah 30. I knew that's where I wanted to go. Isaiah 30. Let me see. Give me 30 and 12. 30 and 12. Just a minute ago, what I was saying was, why is it that it seems like we're like lambs going to the slaughter? Like we don't even know that we're going towards our death. We don't even know the decisions that we're making are killing us. We have no idea, even though we have all the examples on social media all the time. Somebody getting, killed by the police, somebody getting in a situation, somebody doing something foolish that they shouldn't be doing, right? Go ahead. Isaiah 30 and 12. I still like it. Jeremiah 30 and 12.
Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 12. For thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous.
So we are a people that's been through many captivities. We done been through hell and back as Black and Hispanic people. A lot of times what you hear Black people say, or you hear people say, period, is that we are a resilient people because we're still able to invent things. We're still able to create things. We're still able to smile and appear to have a good time. Even out to make a good time, even out of the bad times. When you go into the history, the slaves had a good time. Every day wasn't just horrible, but they found a way to have good times and sing songs and party. And and that's us today. We are in hell, but for some reason we coming out with all type of dance moves and inventing things and innovating things even in hell, right? But the Lord hit us with a sore wound, right? And that wound was captivity. A sore wound of forgetting who you are and not having any knowledge, no direction or leadership, and following heathens, right? And we went into the transatlantic slave trade, and Columbus came, to South America, to the West Indies, and took our brothers into captivity to Europe and conquered them and made them bend the knee and murdered them. Cortez and them murdered the Mexicans by the hundreds of thousands, by the tens of thousands, right? And we've suffered horribly. The Lord calls it a sore wound. You know what that a wound is something that you put a bandage on, you dress it up and you get healed, right? And you get better. But we have a wound that has not healed, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The wound that we have is incurable. Read that again.
thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous.
Right. It is grievous. It's painful. Slavery was painful. Oppression is painful. Being called a nigger and a spick and a wetback was painful. Being put in immigration detention centers and then they lose your children is painful and nobody gives a damn. It's painful, right? Being on the other side of the border and looking through a fence at the ocean and seeing a new life, but you can't get there, that's painful, right? Being somebody who done built America, right? Built America through picking cotton, but when you try to get a job, no one hires you, but then they call you lazy. That's painful. You understand? Being somebody that is considered a criminal right when they see you and they shoot you down at 12 years old and the police officer gets off and nobody gets any goddamn justice, that's painful. The way we've been treated has been nothing but pain. Keep reading.
Verse 13, there is none to plead thy cause.
And there is no one to plead the cause, to fight for you. No one but yourself. Go ahead.
That thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicine.
There is no healing medicine. There is nothing that can heal it. It says you don't have anybody to fight for you, to plead your cause, to bound you up, to wrap that wound up. Go ahead, Malakman.
So like, so you use that precept to also show like why you should be getting high.
That's definitely a precept. That's definitely, you can use that for that. I was just about to say that. How do we try to heal ourselves? We get high. We get loaded. There was just some kids in Hollywood, 4 of them OD, one of them died. They thought they was getting Percocets, but they were laced with fentanyl. The sister's, her last name was Ramos. I don't know if she's, I mean, I know your last name don't mean that you're Hispanic, but from her last name, she probably was a sister. She died right at the high school in the bathroom, right? But in our community, what we do for the pain of not having an identity, for the pain of knowing, listen, we come from slaves, that's our history. From the pain of, coming from the barrio or the ghetto, and having few opportunities and coming from a dysfunctional family, we get high. That's what we do. We do drugs. No matter what the drug is, we try to get away from the pain. That's what we do. Well, the Lord said right here that there is nothing that can heal that pain. There is nobody that is fighting for you to bound up that wound that we have as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That wound that makes us get so angry that we would rather just hurt one another, right? Instead of looking at the people that are giving us the wound, right? Keep reading.
Verse 14, all thy lovers have forgotten thee.
Right.
They seek thee not, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy.
Right.
Chastisement of a cruel.
So the Lord said he wounded us with the wound of an enemy. What did the Lord do? He used other nations to destroy us. He used other nations to come up against us and put us in chains and put us in slavery and destroy Jerusalem. Go ahead,
Is this like lovers, right? So like the lovers is not speaking of your actual lover, right? You're speaking of like how the other nations
that loved you, yeah, when you were in your rightful place, you know what I'm saying, before you was destroyed, right? When you were known as God's chosen people, you were known as Israel. They have forgotten you, right? He's using these parables. He's like, nobody is fighting for you, nobody's pleading your cause. All of your lovers, they have forgotten thee. They don't look for you. They ain't looking out for you. Go ahead.
with the chastisement of a cruel one,
Mm-hmm.
for the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 15. Why criest thou for thine affliction?
So why we gonna cry out? Because we afflicted. It's like he's asking a question. Go ahead.
Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity,
Mm-hmm.
because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee.
So these are the things that the Lord done to us. And this is why we are in the predicaments that we find ourselves in America, because we have a sore wound. We have a wound that cannot be healed by doing drugs, that cannot be healed by, developing an economic plan, that cannot be healed by, creating a, pro-black agency. These things can only be healed by us keeping the law, statute, and commandments. And then we'll have good success and we'll be prosperous. With that, I'll pass the class to Precinct Officer Oscar Ward. Clap, clap.